Hello, this is Poch Concepcion of Daily Tribune. Welcome to Wazzup. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2019, the College of St. Benilde, De La Salle College of St. Benilde, made a documentary about plastic waste and its effect on our ecosystem. The documentary is titled Alon. It was shown in international film festivals and won awards. Here to talk about the film, the docu, is College of St. Benilde's Director of Center for Campus Art, Gerry Torres, and marine biologist Dr. Wilfredo Licuanan, who's also in the docu. Welcome. Gerry.
Thank you, Poch, for having us.
Okay, let's jump right in. The idea for doing Alon, how did it come about, Gerry?
The Center for Campus Art is mandated to produce, curate, and manage exhibits for the College of St. Benilde. And since 2015, we've been doing that. In late 2018, I visited a seaside community in Sorsogon called Lola Sayong, and I chanced upon the head surfer or the head of the camp, who told me that at certain times of the year there would be a huge amount of plastic that would be washed up on the shores of their surf camp, and he was thinking of doing something about the trash that they pick up every year and turning them actually first. The first idea was turning them into surfboards. So I got interested in his proposal because Benilde has a big School of Design and Arts, and I thought that surfboard design would be an interesting topic for an exhibit. Later on, when I started to read more about it, about plastic in the ocean, I got the shock of my life to realize that, well, among many things that were shocking, the Philippines is one of the three most pollutant country in the world when it comes to plastic trash. And so this gave me the idea that maybe doing surfboard designs would not be enough if the bigger problem is really the plastic in the ocean. So that's why I shifted the curatorial bent of the project into plastic waste in the oceans. So that's how it started.
Oh, shocking. Ako rin na-shock eh. The start of the film. The info that the Philippines is the third largest producer of plastic waste in the ocean. Doctor Al, paano po nalalaman yung mga ganyang yung ranking ng mga countries na mga pollutants, I mean, consumption of plastic and throwing of plastic everywhere, especially our oceans, rivers. The info came from the United Nations.
Two ways. Yes, but the whole report, as I understand it, is based on a paper published in Science.
Okay.
And for work like that, they look at two sources. One is how waste is handled in communities and countries. And then the other is what people record, for example, during cleanups, coastal cleanups, which is done annually. So between the two, you can already gauge where most of the plastic is coming from, not just where they are ending up in.
Okay. When do you think the problem started? Start in the 70s, 60s, as early as the 60s, or recent lang po? Ito, accumulation
Most of these plastics have been there a long time. It's just that yung volumes nila are such now that they are almost impossible to ignore. So they've been building up for decades.
Okay.
Yes.
And may mga instances na yung mga marine creatures pa na ano sila, no? Naiipit sila. I mean, they find themselves trapped.
Or napagkakamalan nilang pagkain.
Okay.
A very good example is the sandbag floating around in the ocean looks very much like jellyfish. And so sea turtles, when they eat these sandbags, they think they are ingesting jellyfish, but in fact, they're eating something that stays in their gut forever. And when they accumulate enough, they clog the intestines and they die because of the accumulated plastics in their bodies.
Okay. Gerry, you went, the production team of Binild went to 6 locations, right? You chose
Surfing camps.
6 surfing camps.
Yeah.
And can you tell us more about this?
Well, we actually got inspired by the passion of the surfers when it comes to how they take care of the oceans. No? When you look at them, you feel that they're doing such a heroic thing because the volume of plastic that is being produced and consumed by us, and the actions that they're doing to clean up is really, in terms of the scale of their action and the problem, it's really like David and Goliath. So we got inspired by them. But at the same time also, we knew for one thing that surfing has become very popular in the country, and rightly so, because we really have one of the best surfing sites in the world. But we just want to tell young people, starting with Benildians, that there is a problem behind all this, vacation, surfing outings that you have. There is a problem of plastic, and we are hoping that we can instill awareness among our students for them to maybe find a solution through design. The other thing also is we chose 6 surfing sites that were north and south of the country, from Luzon all the way down to Mindanao in Davao, Davao del Sur, just to illustrate the amount of plastic waste that's found in our oceans. Meaning it's not anymore localized to just Manila or Luzon area or the more populous cities in the country. It's really all over. So that was also a way of showing us the enormity of the problem of plastic waste. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Al, there's this thing about single-use plastic. It's now being banned, right? Why
In many
specifically
places, yes.
single-use plastic? What's wrong about this particular kind of plastic? Ito yung mga binababalot
like
sa
the name
palengke.
suggests,
Okay. Go.
yes. As the name suggests, you use them once or at best a few times,
Okay.
but they essentially stay in the environment for hundreds of years, decades at least, but hundreds of years. The reason they stay that long and we don't notice is very often they fall apart into tiny pieces, microplastics.
Okay.
And microplastics are everywhere. They are in our food. They get mixed into our table salt. They're everywhere. So essentially, single use but last forever.
And we
Okay.
Gerry.
And I think I still remember a time when there was very little single-use plastics, and we were able to survive and live the lives that we had. It's just that I guess the big businesses have ingrained it into our minds that we need to consume water in plastic bottles. We need to put our food in plastics, and in some instances, layers and layers of plastics, food and commodities. So it's really just us not being aware of this single-use plastics that we use for seconds. How much destruction it can do, especially if you compute the volume of straws and plastic utensils and plastic bags and stirrers, etc., that we eventually dump into the oceans.
Okay. Ito ba yung this type of plastic na manipis, and then supermarkets also put like it's biodegradable, which means in my personal experience nadudurog pag masyadong matagal na sa ito po ba yun? What it's bad, no?
Yes.
Oh, if it breaks down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Kasi, if I may, one reason it's bad is any living organism that has these microplastics in their bodies. Itong microplastics na to attract a lot of chemicals that stick to the microplastics. And so when we ingest or absorb the microplastics, pati yung mga toxins na nakadikit sa kanila ay pumapasok sa ating katawan.
Mm-hmm. Gerry, one of the surfers, yung sa first surfing site na pinuntahan nyo, no? This guy said, there's a plastic season, tama?
Yeah.
At ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Pag maraming tao? Or
No, it's the
cycle?
wind. It's actually the wind. I think it's a bagat that carries the plastics from other parts of the world, not just in the Philippines.
Okay.
Plastics can come from China or from South Korea, for example, or Japan, and it just gets delivered by the tides and the winds into the oceans of Sorsogon, so the eastern seaboard of the country, and that happens every year. So I think what we're seeing now is that plastic, because they don't disintegrate, they just break down after many years. There would be islands of them floating around the world, and some of them would end up in communities. And so this is what happened in Lola Sayong in Sorsogon.
And can you tell us more what the surfers are doing in those 6 sites?
Well, they do annual cleanups. They try to educate whoever they are able to talk to. For example, their students to first dispose of the trash, and or as much as possible, if they can, bring it back to Manila or to wherever they came from, and not leave it in the surf camps, because a lot of these surf camps are small communities, and their LGUs do not have the capacity to collect huge amounts of trash. In a way, the surfers are surfing is a victim of its own success. The fact that people went in droves to these surfing communities because of the attraction of surfing was actually detrimental to the health of the ocean, which is what the surfers enjoy. So it's actually an ironic situation. But they do clean ups, they educate their communities, they try to talk to the LGUs and explain to them the problem. They also try to recycle as much as they can. But I don't think that action will be enough to solve a large percentage of the problem. I'm not saying all of it, but substantially to create a dent. I really think that the problem is the production of plastic.
Okay.
I have a friend who gave me a good analogy. She said that if the floor is flooding, you don't just mop it up. You have to close the faucet or the water source. So until the water source or the source of plastic it does not abate, especially now during the pandemic, lalo na sa dami ng masks, PPEs,
Yes.
plastic this and plastic that, deliveries of food consume a lot of plastic, no? So companies like Lazada and Shopee are also a huge contributors. E-commerce actually is a huge contributor to plastic waste. So it really needs to be practices really need to evolve and it really starts with awareness, which is one of the reasons why we made this movie and the exhibit.
Yeah, right. It's good. It's good that you made this film. One other problem is connected. Is waste. How do we dispose the waste? Right, waste management. And mukhang naka-encounter kayo doon ng ano. You were trying to. The crew was trying to get an appointment to talk to the yung mga kumukolekta ng trash. Mukhang ayaw pa kausap, ano?
We were given the runaround. You know, it's funny. Even in Benil, Gabby was trying to film how the trash was being collected in our school, I guess by a contractor.
Yes.
And even they, when they saw the camera, they were actually quite apprehensive why they were being shot and all that. So there really is something there that we don't know yet. And uh, I think Dr. Al will be able to explain to us the best way to dispose, because waste disposal is also another part of the solution. But I think our waste disposal systems are not enough, or might not be the correct way
Uh-huh.
of disposing our plastics properly.
Tama po. Yes, Dr. Al, can you
Well,
explain
like
to us?
Gerry said, it's not really the disposal, because we don't have the capability to dispose of them properly. Many of our communities do not have proper. We have landfills,
Yes.
Yeah.
and most of them are not really to code. So we don't have the resources to dispose of the plastic properly. Our best bet, like Gerry said, is to reduce the consumption.
Mhm.
And if we reduce the consumption, we also do not provide the incentive that these products are produced to begin with. And so that means the solution is in behavior change rather than technology.
All right. How bad is the problem? But before you answer, we'll take a very short break.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang. Okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami
Call
mag-deliver.
to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Hello, welcome back to Wazzup. I'm Poch Concepcion of Daily Tribune, and you're watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. Today we're talking about a documentary, an award-winning documentary called Alon. It's about plastic waste, and we have as guests talking about they were involved in the film, in the docu. Dr. Al Licuanan, marine biologist, and De La Salle College of St. Benilde's director of the Center of Campus Art, Gerry Torres. Welcome back, guys. I was asking, how bad is the problem of plastic clogging our oceans, our seas? Dr. Licuanan.
Well, one example is we have plastic waste reaching our largest and most best managed marine protected area. It's an area that we take care of. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Uh, I'm talking about Tubataha Reefs,
Okay.
and plastic waste is getting all the way to Tubataha Reefs, which is in the middle of the Sulu Sea. So we start seeing them entangled among the corals. Okay, so there's no area remote enough in the country that you don't have plastics floating in the sea.
Okay.
Another example of how bad it is an undergraduate student decided to just as a small experiment determine how pure rock salt that you can buy from wet markets are. And if I remember the number right, he found that by weight, about 13% of the rock salt is actually microplastic.
Huh?
Hindi siya asin. It's
Oh, God.
microplastic.
How
Which
do you...
means
Okay.
all of us have plastics inside our bodies already. And if I may add, think about the material that makes up those face masks that we are all wearing now. Okay. We are ingesting and inhaling microplastics.
And what is the effect of microplastic in our in the human body? Slow
Well,
death?
most of the time it's benign.
Okay.
But like I said, those microplastics are very good at attracting all sorts of toxins and concentrating them on their surfaces.
Okay.
But in marine organisms, a very good example is yung minention ko kanina, sea turtles. We've seen several sea turtles na the gut is so full of plastics na hindi na siya makakain dahil barado na yung kanyang digestive tract. Hindi na rin siya makadumi dahil the same reason. And because the organs are essentially dying from inside going out, as the tissues of the turtle deteriorate and decay, they produce gas. And that's why they have these unusual postures dahil may gas na sa loob ng body nila, hindi na sila makadive. And so it's a slow, painful death. Very sad to see this. And it's quite common, unfortunately.
Okay.
And also there was a study that said something like by 2050, at the rate we're going, there'll be more plastics than fish in the ocean. And the study of microplastics and us ingesting them into our bodies is, I think, still relatively new. That finding out its effects on our body is still being studied as we go on. But they're saying, I also came upon a research that said we are ingesting an equivalent of one plastic card, the ATM card, amount of plastic daily in our bodies. And, I mean, those are one of the more shocking research materials that I found. The analogy to one plastic card every day of plastic that we ingest. But how it affects our body, we still don't know.
We still don't know.
Yeah, too early.
It's like a developing story.
I'm sure it's not going to be beneficial for us. That's for sure. So I think if more people are aware that we are ingesting plastics,
Okay.
They're saying even through the air, and as Dr. Al said, even through the masks that we use every day, those are microfibers made of plastic that we probably breathe in this past year and a half constantly every day that we wear them. So people are still not aware of that that part of us having plastics already
In our
in
bodies.
our bodies, and that's definitely not healthy. I think if we can ask anyone, if that does those horrible things to turtles, hindi malayo na maging masama rin sa katawan din natin.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. So, problema ko yata yung pagbili ng asin na. Saan ako bibili ng asin na? Okay. On the other hand, what inspiring parts of the docu did you discover? I mean, kung meron mga shocking, depressing, meron din namang inspiring sa docu. Can you relate to us for the benefit of our viewers?
You want to go first, Dr. Al?
Dr. Al.
Okay, from the perspective of scientists, what I found inspiring in the documentary is that people like the surfers are not waiting for somebody to solve the problem. They're doing something about it themselves.
Okay.
I say that because too many people are waiting for scientists to come up with a solution, when in fact the more effective solution is for everybody to do something about it. If I may draw a parallel to what's happening now with this pandemic, we're waiting for the scientists to develop the vaccines and to make them in sufficient quantities to distribute to everybody, as opposed to you just follow the quarantine guidelines. Do something about it yourself. Don't wait for the experts to come up with a technical fix. That's how we will deal with this plastics problem. Everybody has to do something about it. We don't wait for a technical solution, because the technical solution will take some time, will likely be expensive, and will not be available to all of us soon enough.
Thank you.
In
Thank you,
my case, what I find inspiring is was the effect of the movie to the audience, especially the younger ones. Since we produced it in late 2018 and the whole of 2019, we've been showing it to as many people as we can. And what for me was inspiring was the willingness of people to actually be part of the solution. Sometimes they're just shocked when they realize that what they do every day is actually part of the problem, the usage of plastic. But their willingness to change their behavior, and also that of companies, since we showed the movie in early 2019, a lot of I've seen a lot of companies and groups, corporations that are starting to cut down on their plastics. So I feel that there is the desire to help, especially with us Filipinos. It just needs to be, I guess, constantly reminded that we can do something about it. Plus, also the awards that it has garnered here and overseas is a good sign that people are recognizing that the problem is there, and that the fact that I'm talking to you now, Poch, in this program with David Tribune, because this is like the third time that we've presented this the docu to a group, and this time to media. I think is a positive sign, because we're aware that people actually want to help. We just need to guide them on how best to help it. And there's more groups also doing recycling and also doing educational directions towards creating more awareness and possibly solutions to the plastic problem.
Okay. Obviously, there's a problem, a big problem. Do you see government support, or as Dr. Al Licuanan says, tayo-tayo, kailangan sa atin magsimula.
I think recently, as late as the last quarter of 2019, there were certain cities in Metro Manila that were already starting to ban single-use plastics, Quezon City being one of them. And I thought that was really a great move on the part of Mayor Joy Belmonte
Okay.
to ban plastic. It's just that when the pandemic happened, I think she had to cancel that ban because of this pandemic has taken over the other concerns of the LGUs. But there are certain government units, especially in the LGU levels, and I think there was even a DANR directive. Already sometime in, I don't know, Dr. Al is aware of this. Sometime in, I think in 2019 also, when the DNR announced that they will eventually, at a certain point in the next 2 years, ban single-use plastics. Slowly, but going in that direction of banning single-use plastics at the national level. It's just that the pandemic is just an unfortunate, incident because I felt that in 2019 we were doing, 2 steps forward already with this cry of stopping the production and consumption of plastic. But because of the pandemic, but I felt also that there was one step backwards, because of the lockdown and the pandemic.
Okay. How do you think we can influence the masses to be, of course, they're aware, but how can they help solve the problem? But let's take a short break before answering that question. Thank you.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga parties, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
All right, welcome back to Wazzup. This is Poch Concepcion of Daily Tribune, and we're talking about the documentary Alon, the award-winning documentary Alon. It's about plastic waste, and the people involved are our guests, Dr. Al Licuanan, marine biologist, and the producer of the film, Gerry Torres of De La Salle College of St. Benilde. Guys, ano po ang pwede nating, anong nakikita nyong para ang masa tumulong para ma-solve ang problema ng plastic waste?
If I may start, kanina sabi ni Gerry na may mga local government na nagsimula with ordinances banning single-use plastic, but na-overwhelm yung government systems natin na itong mga pangangailangan na related dito sa pandemic. Which is unfortunate timing dahil ang isa rin nangyari dito sa pandemic is lahat ng pamimili halos ay ginagawa online.
Okay.
And dahil doon, mas madami pa tayong plastic waste na naproproduce kasi pansinin nyo yung mga in-order natin, lalo na kung manggagaling sa ibang bansa, ilang layer ng plastic ang nakabalot dun sa lalagyan at dun sa loob ng lalagyan ay madami pang plastic. In fact, nakakuha ko na isang maliit na item na in-order ko. Yung packaging niya ay siguro mga 20 times yung volume nung product na pinoprotektahan niya. Okay? And so, ibig sabihin talaga, yung solusyon ay nasa kamay natin.
Opo.
Yung ina-advise namin sa mga namimili sa mga online is bago kayo bumili ng isang produkto, taningin niyo yung sarili niyo ng dalawang tanong. Una, will this product improve the quality of my life? Okay. And yung second question is the product's contribution to your quality life, is it much more than the damage that product will inflict on the environment when it is eventually disposed? Okay. So, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, the solution is at the personal level. It requires behavior change. And for us, yun nga, the questions relate to yung contribution ba nung plastic product na binibili natin ay mas malaki dun sa damage na nakikreate nung product na yun pag siya ay itatapon na.
Yeah.
Tama po. Gerry?
I still believe in education, Coach, no? Education is really where it begins. And in the as I said, in the schools that we went to, especially grade school, they were really very open and receptive, and actually really thinking of ways to help the plastic problem. Napakabilis nilang intindihin ang problema at anong kaya nilang gawin. The young, the children, no, the grade schools, we visited a Lasal school in Bagak, Bataan. That's totally plastic free. And okay lang sa kanila. They understood it. They're very cooperative. So I still believe that it should start also with education. Now, maybe public schools can include it in their modules, especially in areas that are seaside communities, where the seaside communities are found. Doon mag-umpisa. One of our partners told us that pag nag-umpisa sa bata, minsan mas mabilis pa dahil yung anak, kakausapin yung parents, kakausapin yung mga tito at tita, lolo at lola, doon mag-umpisa sa kanila, minsan mas effective na the children themselves in turn, once they are educated with the plastic problem, will in turn tell their parents also about it. So it becomes more grassroots, then hopefully it will spread out into the community. So I really am gunning for education. The second is for our schools to be plastic free. If we want to teach our students to reduce plastic consumption, di sa eskwelahan mismo, dapat bawasan or tanggalin ang certain plastic items. No, palagi ko sinasabi yung 6 na single-use plastics. Yung straw, yung stirrer, yung sando bag, yung plastic bottles, plastic cups, at ano pa yung isa? Straws, plastic straws, of course. Nakaya namang gawin We started that in Benil. 5 years ago, we stopped using styro and we were able to survive. So push it further by banning all of these plastic items in our schools. Then that sends a message to our students that we are one with them in finding the solution. Then again, we go up to companies, corporations, groups. No, try to be aware, and among your employees, cut down on those plastic items that we keep on using needlessly. No, sometimes, as Dr. Al said, sometimes we're not aware of how unnecessary this could be. And then again, if you think of recycling, reducing, and reusing, that old triangular system that actually is now developed into what we call the circular economy, So, yun, it can go macro. But again, on a personal level, tayo mismo, because I always encounter this in the Q&A, ano pong magagawa namin, kami mismo?
Mm.
And I always tell them, stop using single-use plastics.
Uh-huh.
No, ka dyan sa Starbucks or sa milk tea, and you keep on buying them. You just refuse, for example, the straw, refuse the sandoval, and bring your own bag. All
Right.
these little actions can help solve the problem.
All right. There's hope. May pag-asa pa. As you said. Okay. Gerry, anong plano sa docu? But before that, anong mga awards nga pala na panalunan nito?
So it won the Science and Education Award in the London Film Festival in January 2020. Then it was shown in Amsterdam and as part of the Amsterdam Film Festival, and also in Madrid as part of another film festival there. So we're open to, ang gusto lang naman namin sa Binil is that this movie will be seen by as many people as possible. Libre siya sa YouTube.
Libre
So,
nga, tama eh. Nasa YouTube
libre.
siya.
Anyone can access it. We can
Okay.
we actually want to tell all the schools in the country, show this to your students. You just get the link and it's there. And early in 2020, we decided to make it public access because yun nga, we want as many people as possible to be aware of this. And so I'm also very grateful to Daily Tribune for giving us the opportunity to once again talk about this and then invite them to view the film and then be aware, just be aware and start doing your actions no matter how small, because they will eventually add up in finding the solution.
All right. Before we wrap things up, we'll play a little game daw. Let's have a little fun here. We will flash something. The object, tama ba, Mira? You flash it on the screen and then you guess what it is.
Okay, kami.
And sorry? Okay. And then mag-uunahan silang dalawa. Okay. Okay.
Unahan?
Okay. That's
May
the
buzzer
mechanics.
ba?
Two players will be given a question. They have to reveal all of the correct answers on the board. They'll each take a turn to answer. Whoever reveals the most correct answers will win. Okay. What's the question?
Plastic waste in the ocean.
The first question is
Plastic waste in the ocean.
plastic waste in the ocean.
We
the
take
first-
turns.
Take turn, sorry. What can you
So-
what are the objects you can find in the ocean as part of plastic waste?
So, do I raise my hand?
Okay, Dr. Al.
You go first, Al, then I'll follow after you.
Okay. Sige, the first one is plastic bag.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess that's plastic straw.
Okay.
Yes.
I think the third one is a shampoo bottle.
Yeah.
Fourth, what is SS?
Yeah, that's I think it's
Yeah.
2 items.
Okay.
Are these
The seed.
forks? F forks? Would S be stirrers?
I think S is shampoo sachet.
Okay.
Okay.
Sachet.
Okay.
CW. Can you
That's
guess?
hard.
CW.
I think it's candy wrapper.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Good.
And the last one, F.
We still have SC.
SC.
Maybe C is a container. Put SB.
My guess is it's styrofoam container or cup.
Pwede rin.
Pwede rin.
Pwede rin. Actually, soda cans.
Soda can.
Okay.
Hindi siya plastic. What is F?
May isa pa, no? Letter F.
Fishnets. Is it?
Yes.
And flip-flops.
Flip-flops. Actually, fishnets. also
Fishnet,
cause-
pwede. Oh, fishnet.
There's a big problem pala with fishnets, no? Kasi ang
really?
fishnet na,
Yes.
Why?
made of plastic, pag nasira na, tinatapon ng fisherman sa dagat. And it
Oh,
ends up catching all sorts of, marine creatures also.
Yeah.
Kaya ito ng fishnets. But flip-flops, yeah, tama.
okay. Gentlemen, parting words to the public. Dr. Licuanan.
Yeah, Dr. Al.
Dr. Al.
Well, sorry if I have to really pound on it, but really the solution is social change. Society has to learn what it's doing, take responsibility, and do something at their own level, in their own homes.
Yeah. Well, I think mine would be similar. I just want people to realize that you have the solution in your own hands. If you just accept it that you could be part of the problem, then you could also be part of the solution. And if we change our consumerist patterns and how we consume plastic, that will already be a big help. Try to spread the word to your family, friends, neighbors, communities. By watching Alon, I think what we've done is we've created a short lesson on the problem of plastics and how we can help alleviate the problem. So it's a good start if you want to know more about plastic pollution in the country. Alon is a good start. Not only is it about the Philippines, I don't think there's any other documents about plastic in the Philippines. I hope there will be more. I hope that it's just the start. But at the same time, it's also new. It's relatively new. We did it in 2018. We started showing it in 2019. So it's a new, the material is new, the content is new. So try to watch it. As I said, it's free on YouTube. And hopefully after watching it, everybody becomes more aware, and with awareness comes solutions.
All right. Gerry Torres, De La Salle College of St. Benilde Director of the Center for Campus Art, and Dr. Al Licuanan, resource person of Alon, the award-winning documentary. Viewers, wag po kayo aalis because right after this interview, we'll be showing the documentary itself. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Poch.